Hello, everybody. Today I'm coming to you with the bonus class for January 2022. Can you believe we're already in 2022? I picked the Flowing Flowers, and then along with it, I am using the Very Versal. I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong there, but you don't have to have this to do the cards we're going to make. I use the words from this, so if you have something similar, that will work too. I picked this one reason because I like these in the background and like this, but this was also last month's bonus class. So for those of you that did do last month's bonus class, you probably already have this. But I picked Flowing Flowers today. And this set is in the new January to June 2022 mini catalog. And it's a distinctive set. And I love it. I loved it when I first saw it. Two reasons. I love the flowers in it. I think these are awesome flowers. I love the way they stamp. The distinctive stamps stamp a little different than a traditional stamp because you don't get you get a little bit of an imperfection out of it, even though that's not what it is. That's kind of what it looks like because you get shading without shading anything. That's why you see darker here, lighter here. That's how the stamp is designed. And you'll see when I start stamping with it, and you'll see like, here's one of them. Sorry, I really need to clean my blocks, I see. But it's going to stamp a little darker there and be lighter over here, even with just one color. The other reason I really like it is it has all my favorite phrases just in one stamp. I love to make, or I should say most of the time when I'm making cards, I use either happy birthday, thank you, or just a note. Those are my three go-to words. And quite often I'll be pulling those words from a different stamp set. This time, all four cards I made, I used words from here. And the new one in here that I really liked was sending a card instead of a text. Don't we all need to do that more often? Look how easy we send a text to somebody, but we don't send cards quite as often, and we should do that more. So all the cards I used, everything from here except for this, like I said, but it's not, you don't have to have it to make these cards. The color pattern I went with was based off of these two. This is a bundle in the new mini catalog of cotton thread. Hang on, I'll tell you the exact name of it. But it's Misty Moonlight and Petal Pink. It's called Cotton Ribbon Combo Pack. And it's on page 43. It technically goes with this bundle here, which I do have. Haven't played with it yet. But I thought this was perfect ribbon. I like the size of it. It's not too thick. I like the thinner ribbon myself. Anyway, so it was based around these two colors. So we're going to make two out of Misty Moonlight and two out of Petal Pink. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And at the end, I will show you a couple other cards that I did with it because I really felt like this bundle, or this stamp set, like it makes a really good one-sheet wonder. And I was going to do the class that way, but I've done it a few times here lately, and I thought, well, maybe I need a break from doing one-sheet wonders. I don't want to burn everybody out on that, even though it's a great way to make 4 cards, but or more. So I didn't, but I did do 4 cards making a one-sheet wonder that I will show you at the end. So we are going to go ahead and get started. So our first one, we are going to be using Misty Moonlight. And as you see here, don't want to get too close. There we go. I raised my camera up just a little bit because I thought maybe I was too close down here. So hopefully I'm okay now. And hopefully the lighting's okay. I forgot to turn on my other ring light before I started. But anyway, you see how this stamps? Now this is just stamping once each time here. But it's darker here and it's lighter out here and then darker around the edges. Each time it stamps that way. And I just stamped it 3 times in Misty Moonlight, and then I took the words and stamped over top of these, but I stamped off first so they were lighter. And then used, boy, I can't talk today. Used the phrase just a note, die cut it out of one of the rectangle dies, added my ribbon, and you have a beautiful card. I think anyway. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, and on this particular one, I had put the pearls on it, but I ended up using, so you're all going to get in each packet the polished dots instead. I went with the clear on the first card, and then some of the others I did the petal pink color because I thought these were really pretty, and these are new in the catalog, in the mini catalog. So I ended up changing it up a little bit. I just didn't change it on this particular card, but we will when we make this one. And I just put 3 little pearls there, but we'll do 3 of the clear this time. And they're right here. And you might get bigger ones, and there's 2 different sizes in those. Some might have gotten the bigger ones, some might get smaller. It's all in how I cut up the packet. So in your bag here, you have your card base, and we're just going to go ahead and burnish that really good. And then you have 2 pieces that are exact same size. One is for the inside, and we will stamp something probably in the corner here. And then you have a piece of shimmer white. As you can see, these are a little bit different in color. Most of you know I love to stamp on the shimmer paper. So you have a piece of shimmer white we're going to stamp on, and you have a die cut piece of shimmer white right here. And this particular card, here, I'm going to move it back over here so it's in the picture. I used this stamp set this stamp right here, and Misty Moonlight. And all we're going to do is ink this up. And it is hard to tell, like when you look at it, how well it's inked up because it is a distinctive stamp. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do a quick stamp. And that is normal. That is how it stamps. Lighter here, darker here. Some people don't like the distinctive stamps because of that, but I like the imperfection of it. So I'm going to stamp. I'm going to do pretty much like I did over here just to keep it the same so you can see how I made it. Stamp one there. I'm going to come over here in the corner and stamp another one, kind of off the page a little bit. And then I'm going to come up here and stamp that one. And we have our 3 right there. The other thing we are going to use, I forgot, is a blending brush because I did go around the edges with the Misty Moonlight. Okay, now we're going to take this word set. And like I said, if you have other words that are similar, they will work too. We're going to ink that up really good. And then I'm going to stamp it off. And I'm going to stamp it off twice. Now, you don't have to stamp it off that many times, but I want just a very faint look of the words behind there. So I'm going to stamp off, stamp again. Stamp off. And you could stamp off even again if you want it even lighter. And that's kind of the look I went for right there. And then I'm going to take my blending brush, starting off the page, and actually it looks like this brush, let me get a different one. It kind of looked like that brush maybe had another color still on it. There we go. Because you see this was looking like a green, yellowish, greenish color, so it could have had something else still on it. I usually try to keep, I just have all my brushes in a bucket, and I have an empty bucket next to it, and when I use them, they go in the other bucket to be like dirty. So I have like clean and dirty, kind of like dirty dishes, you know, clean, dirty, in the dishwasher. But that one maybe just didn't get rinsed out very well. So there we go. That's pretty much the basis of it. And then what we're going to do is take our die cut piece right here, and I used the Just a Note. Now I'm going to have to slide this down just a little bit here just so I can see to line it up, because I know it's hard. Now if you have a Stamparatus, this is a perfect way to use Stamparatus. I didn't get it out for this, and I'm hoping that I have it straight. Perfect. I could have come down just a little bit, but I think it's perfect. So now all we're going to do, like I said, this is very simple. Now, before I start assembling everything, I am going to take, this is my inside piece, and I'm going to take this same flower, and you could use a different one if you wanted for the inside, but I'm going to stamp that on the inside right there, just like that. And we are going to add this to the inside. And then I'm going to add this right here to the outside, just like that. A lot of times I use mono glue. My tape printer is almost out, so I'm going to grab my other one here in a minute. I like to use the Stamp and Seal most of the time. Oh, I think my mono glue is about empty. No. Figures, I get started and something's run out. So hopefully everybody has had a good start to the new year. It's been a little crazy with COVID again. So far, so good with us. Keeping our fingers crossed. And then we're just going to pop this up. First, we're going to add a little tape behind it. And what I did is folded it just like this, kind of like the breast cancer ribbon. I mean, you certainly can do it any way you want. And I just add it with the tape behind there. And then I'm going to just trim these off just a little bit. And then I'm going to flip it back over and I'm going to add some dimensionals. Now this sheet is almost done, so I've been cutting off my edges here. So as you know, we like to use every piece of the dimensional package. It all works. Just takes a little bit longer when you're cutting those pieces off, but they still work. So I'm going to put one there. Now remember, this time of the year, January and February, we have celebration going on. So for every $50 before shipping and tax order that you do, you get to earn a celebration item. And we have I think it's two separate bundles that are $100 options, and they're awesome. And I am also offering my celebration class again this year. It'll be in March. Can't remember the day, but it's towards the end of March. It'll be a Zoom class, and you have several different ways you can earn it. And I'll post the link along with on this video that tells you about it. I mean, if you join monthly club, you automatically will earn the class. If you spend at least $150 between January and February, and that could be one order, two orders, however many orders you want, you would earn the class. If you sign up for 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly how many classes. I want to say 4. You will earn the class. And what you're going to get is DSP from the Celebration catalog. You're going to get this DSP. I'll show you really quick. It's the Daffodil Afternoon paper. And you're going to get, I think, a quarter pack. Can't remember if it's a quarter pack or half pack of DSP. And I'm going to show you what that one looks like. It's this paper right here. Now, I recently offered a paper share, and if you still want in on that, you could get in on it. You get a quarter pack of all the papers, and then you get the download to print these, or I can print them for you if you want. It's an extra on there. And then you can make a sample, and you'd have all the samples of the DSPs, and then you would have paper left over to make cards with, of course. But yes, these show you all the DSPs. But the celebration class to earn, we're gonna use this paper to make some cute cards. Haven't made them yet, but I just know they're gonna be cute cards. There you go. I plan on getting them done this week so I can put it with the ad. I wanted to get it out there, but I didn't have time to make the cards at the time, so I just thought, well, I'll just post it out there anyway. All right, and then I just added the 3 bling to the center of the flowers. And there we go. There is our first card. What do you think? Okay, let's see, we're using that color again. So project number 2, another very simple but elegant card. On the back, on the petal pink piece, I stamped this smaller flower randomly with petal pink all over. And then on our die cut, I stamped the same one we just used. I stamped happy birthday there, added our ribbon, layered it up, put some bling on it, and we have another cute card. So we will get started on this one. Take our card base, and we're going to burnish that first. Here's our bling and our ribbon we'll put aside. So what we're going to do here, this will be our inside piece, is I am going to stamp this first. And it doesn't matter what you do first. The only reason I'm stamping this one first is it's already got the Misty Moonlight on it, and it's open right there. Just making sure I'm still in camera. Can't remember how far I can go down. There we go. Nice. So, before I close that up, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside piece also. And yeah, I was trying to decide maybe I wanted to use the other smaller one, but I'm going to use this one again too. I really like this flower. Excuse me. I just had to wipe my nose a little bit. I had a runny nose going on there. All right. So this will be our inside piece. Now I'm going to close up my Misty Moonlight. No, I will need that. I'm not closing that yet. Petal pink. Here we go. So I'm going to take the petal pink and I'm just going to randomly stamp this all over. And if you know where you're putting that circle, you don't necessarily have to stamp in that particular area. Pretty much just like that. It doesn't really matter because, like I said, it's just more for the background part. And if you wanted it lighter, you could have stamped off first. Like it looks like to me, well, I know why it looks a little bit darker than this one. Because my pad has been inked up since I made these, because I felt like it was getting a little light. Okay, so then I'm going to take the happy birthday and I'm going to stamp it with Misty Moonlight down here in the bottom corner. And I'm going to stamp over here first, only because I always like to double check to make sure I have it straight. And I'm almost thinking it's not quite. Sometimes it's really difficult to. I wish they always would have a flat, straight line on the bottom of the stamps, but they don't. I just love the font on that happy birthday. I think that is so awesome. I think it's so pretty. Anyway. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add our ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive I always just put mine all the way around right from the get-go. And you kind of want to decide where your circles are going to go. I'm going to go about right here because I think that'll about do it. Depends on where your words are, so don't come down too low or you're going to end up covering those up. So I might go up just a little bit higher. There we go. I would have probably been fine, but I'm going to save that little piece to tie our little half knot. I always go back over my ribbon and put another little piece of tape over it. And at the same time, let's go ahead and add our inside piece. On the inside pieces, I usually only put adhesive on the top and bottom, but you can do it any way you want. There we go. There's that. Now we're going to add adhesive to this. These are just stragglies hanging on from when I die cut it. We're going to layer that right there. And this is shimmer white. I mean, you could do it in whisper white if you wanted to, or basic white, sorry. It's no longer called whisper white, it's basic white. And now I'm going to add dimensionals basically to the bottom half and the top half. I don't usually put it in the middle if I know there's ribbon or something there, but it doesn't matter either way. So let's see, here's one that I had left over. I don't know about you guys, but man, because of all the cold weather we've had, my hands have been so dry. Almost hated to have them on camera. I have been putting so much lotion on here lately. So there's that. This sheet's going to be about done. Normally I always say put something in the middle, but when we have ribbon right there, I don't worry too much about it. Okay, there's that. And we're going to pop this right here like that. And then we're going to take this little tiny piece that's left over. And it should be enough to tie all we're doing, because I just wanted a little tiny half knot right here. And the amount was perfect. If I could cut. Oh, I apologize. That's my home phone ringing. Or it's actually our business line. Which seems like here lately we don't get as many calls from it, but okay. Then we're going to take, my hand is itching. Here's our little bling right here. And I just randomly, I put one down here by our words, and then I just randomly put them all over the card, wherever you want. And of course, if you want one in the middle of the card, or in the middle of the flower, you can put one there. And you don't even have to use them all if you don't want to. I think I gave everybody 5 for this card. And there we go. There's card number 2. What do you think? Oh, sorry, the inside of my hand really itches. I like it. I just like the simplicity of it. I think like I said, I really like this stamp set. I think it's awesome. Okay, let's see. I'm going to move that out of the way and move that out of the way. I don't want to... The next one, we're doing a combination of stamping. So again, I use the background words. I'm going to have to clean it though, because here I used the petal pink. And then I used the small flower again in petal pink. And then we're going to use this flower in Misty Moonlight. And then I stamped right on it right here, sending a card instead of a text, and then just made a cute little bow with the ribbon, and then put some of the petal pink bling on it. So we have Shimmer White that we're going to stamp on. We're going to layer it on the Misty Moonlight. This is for our inside piece. And this particular card you're going to see here, I'm going to show you by the side. I actually popped up the Misty Moonlight. You don't have to, but I just felt like it gave it a little more dimension since we weren't actually adding anything for the phrase this time. We were stamping on the card. I just gave us a dimension that way. Okay, so see what I did there? Laid it in my... So I'm going to do it like this, and it's not going to matter. I got it in the... That's going to be my outside of it. Flipped it up in the corner. That's why I don't like leaving my ink out, but I did it. Anyway, it's okay. We will make it work. Unfortunately, it's down so low that I can't hide it, but I'm just going to put it on the back of the card. So what we're going to do first here, and then there's our center or our inside piece that I'll stamp on in a minute. We are going to stamp this one first. I tend to start with the bigger ones because I feel like you can fill in easier with little ones. And I stamped 3 times, and I'm going to go like once here, and you can do it however you want. Here, and then I'm going to do like a half stamping there, kind of like I did. So there's those 3. Now I wobbled a little bit right there. I'm going to leave it. I think I'll be able to probably cover it up enough because we're going to be doing some other stamping. So I'm going to take the Petal Pink. Stamp that there. We're going to stamp one here. We're going to come over here. And there's really no right or wrong. You can put as many in there as you want or as little as you want. And it doesn't matter if it overlaps either. And then I'm going to take this. Now I got to clean it really quick. Hopefully this is still wet enough. I forgot to. Normally I take these. I don't have a sink in here yet. I have a place for a sink. Just they haven't had time to get to it. And this one's getting a little dry. It's really dry right here, so it's only wet in the middle. And I have another one that's really wet, but it got some kind of fuzzies all over it, so I have to take it and clean it out, and I keep forgetting. Okay. Looks like I got it. Yep. It looked really dark right there. I thought, well, maybe there was still blue ink on there, but there was not. So I'm going to ink this up. And I am going to stamp off because I do want this very faint in the background. And since I inked it up, I know it's a little bit darker. I'm going to see what that's going to look like. Yeah. So I'm going to ink it up. I'm going to stamp off. I'm really tempted to stamp off again and make it very faint. Yeah, I like that. So that was 2 times stamping off. So ink it up, stamp, stamp. Stamp on the card front. And yes, it got a little crooked right there, but in the whole picture of it all, you're not going to really notice it because I think I'm going to try and stamp my phrase like right across right here. I don't think you'll notice it in the end anyway. And again, I'm going to take my blending brush, and you could either use Petal Pink or Misty Moonlight here. I'm going to come around with it, the edges with the Misty Moonlight instead of the Petal Pink. But like I said, you could use either one. And you notice this time I didn't even ink it up again at all. I just kind of went with the... And I'm just going to run the brush kind of over the top just a little bit to blend it all in. Okay. Now I'm going to take the sending a card instead of a text. Oops, I moved my ink out of the way. And then I'm going to slide this down so I can see it a little better. And I am going to stamp kind of right there where I went a little crooked with the background words. But like I said, I don't think you're going to notice it in a minute. Now I do want to come over enough so I can put my little bow up there. There we go. Now you don't even notice that. So we're going to layer this onto the card front. And if you didn't like how it turned out, flip it over and do it different, which I thought about doing, but I was good with it. This goes on here. Now, if I was die cutting a piece or a layer, I would probably die cut out of the center of this. I usually try to use these layers for something. So keep that in mind. You can always die cut out of these layers. It's a great way to use those layers. Normally I use the minis, but because we're using the, excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and use the regular dimensionals. These are bigger ones, and we used to always cut these down, and then Stampin' Up! Came up with the minis, so then we didn't have to cut them down anymore. But I still use the big ones like in places like this. And you could also use the foam. We have the sheets of foam tape, or the foam adhesive sheets. That would work great behind here too. That'll probably do it. Now, if you're worried about a little bit of sagging, you could always put a half a dimensional like here, here, and here, and here if you wanted to. But I think that's pretty much how I did the last one. I think it's plenty. Anybody do anything exciting on New Year's Eve? We normally we stay at home on New Year's Eve because Drew likes to call it amateur night. But we got invited to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's, and so my other brother-in-law and sister-in-law went too, and we stayed at their house and didn't have to worry about driving home. And we actually stayed up till like 2 in the morning, which for me, that is really late. I don't normally stay up that late, but it was nice. We had a good time, sat in the hot tub, you know, just hung out, drank, ate. It was awesome. We had an awesome time, so. And here, I'm going to go back and do this again. So however you tie your bows, I do the bunny ears with these, which is not how I normally like tie a shoe or anything like that, but I feel like with ribbon, it works really great. And then you can make your ears there however big you want them. And then I trim it. Oops, I almost cut the wrong thing. I have done that before. And I just use a little glue dot to attach the ribbon. So I take my piercing tool, and whatever piercing tool you have. We also have the take your pick tool, which works too. This is just the one I grabbed. I roll it and then add it to the back. And you could add 2 of them if you feel like one maybe is not enough. And just put it right there. And then, oops, I need this again. I put 3 little gems on it this time. If I can get them off the plastic. Just randomly. There we go. Card number 3. What do you think? Loving it. Whoops, we forgot to do the inside. So I would probably take, let's see, so this one, we could do either or. So how about this time we'll do this one on the inside. And I think what I'm going to do is do a couple of them. See, I rocked it again. I'm going to flip that one. I think I was pressing too hard is really what I was doing. There. Cute though, huh? Just adds to the inside and you didn't really have to do a whole lot to do it. Sometimes we always forget about how we can decorate the inside of the card, and there's not a lot. I mean, it doesn't take us a whole lot of time and not a whole lot of extra of anything just to stamp the inside. And of course, you could stamp a phrase up here or just write your note. I tend to not stamp on the inside of my cards until I go to use them. And honestly, most of the time, I just write a note on the inside. I don't hardly ever stamp on the inside. All right, project number 4. Now this one I made first, and then that's when I decided to switch it up and do Petal Pink and Misty Moonlight, and I had layered with the basic gray, and this piece is on crooked. Yes, I know. I didn't bother taking it off and changing it. But I had used the basic gray because I love this color combination. But then when I decided to do it with the Misty Moonlight, I liked it that way. So I ended up doing all of them that way except this card. Okay, so this one, let's burnish this. And on all of these, we did stamp on shimmer paper. This is our inside piece. This is our layer. And as you see on the layer, I die cut the circle out of there, and we're going to stamp on here, and we're going to stamp on here. This time I did the thank you, and I stamped it in basic gray. Sorry, I forgot to pull out the basic gray. So what I'm going to do, oh, I know what I forgot to do on the last. Okay, we're going to go back to a card because I did forget something on one of the cards, and I'll show it to you in a minute, only because I see it on this card too. I forgot to do the flicking with the marker on one of the cards, but I'll go back and show you after we finish this card. So this one, we're stamping the thank you in basic gray. Right like this. And there's that. And then we're going to take this little one and stamp it in the center right over top of that. Now you could use any of the, you could use the big one if you wanted. You could use this one because this is the one we're going to stamp on the background, but I got to clean it first. But I'm going to go ahead and use this little one again. And I'm going to just stamp it right in the center. And you're going to notice it more this time. Again, I inked it up, and I think I stamped off, but it was very light here. I like that one. I like how that turned out. And I think we'll stamp on the inside with this big one, but let me clean it. There's chamois. If you don't have a chamois, now this is a cut in half chamois, so they're actually twice this size. I cut them in half, put them in a clear container, and use half until they're worn out, and they do wear out. That was what I was going to get to. Eventually they'll, if you use them a lot, little fibers will start breaking off of it, and just, toss it, and then you have another half to use. But they last a long time. Like I've had these for, since they first came out, which has been several years since they came out. So it's not like you go through them that quickly. Okay, it's nice and clean. And all we're going to do is randomly stamp this flower. And I'm going to go here, and you can stamp it as many times as you want. Go here. And this is a little bit darker than what it was there, but I inked it up. Or re-inked it, I should say. And I think we're just going to go like that. Just like that. And then what I did with this one, and I'm going to pull out that other card and show you too. You take one of the Stampin' Right markers, and you take the, not the fine tip end, but the brush end. I had to think of my words there for a minute. And all you're going to do, and you're going to use your cap, and you're just going to flick it like this. And I forgot to do that. I think it was on the second card. And you could do it on your words if you want to too, just a little bit. But it's a great way to add just a little bit of splatter to your background without using a splatter stamp. So now I'm going to, before I forget, I'm going to take I'm going to take this one this time with the petal pink, and I'm going to stamp it right here in the bottom corner. I always like to do the right-hand corner, but that's just me. You could do it however you want. I swear it looks like there's another color on there with this one, but I think it could be how I'm putting a lot of pressure down, because I did clean it and nothing came off. So I'm really thinking it's just I'm pressing too hard. I'm going to stamp one right here and not press very hard just to show you the difference. Yeah, I think I was putting a little bit more pressure down, more than what I probably needed to. It's really easy to get heavy-handed sometimes. Okay, so here's our inside. Goes right here. And then real quick, I am going to go ahead and take a blending brush. And I may not have said this in the instructions on this particular one, but I'm going to try it on this one. And I'm just going to blend around the edges. You don't have to. Like I said, I don't think I put it in the instructions because I already have all the instructions done. Just needed to do the video. But that'll give you an option there. If you want to add a little bit to it, you can. And we are going to add our adhesive. No. Yep. Dang, I'm just running out of... Okay, we'll go to the Stampin' Seal Plus. So this is the Plus, but it works for cards too. I actually like how this one rolls. I feel like this one rolls almost a little bit better than the regular Stampin' Seal. It's just there is absolutely no wiggle room and no pulling it back up once it's down. With some of the adhesives, you can heat them up or huff them and you can pull them back up. And I just messed up. So I'm going to make it work because I'm going to add it here. I'm going to go around the whole thing. I forgot to add my ribbon. And normally I would be able to like huff it and stick it underneath, but I'm not even going to try because I know with the Plus it makes it harder. But that's okay. We'll just wrap it around the whole thing. Okay. Got up to the edge, just fold it under. And now I'm going to put this, see I kind of left this area blank. That's where I'm going to add my circle. I'm going to do that. I'm going to take our card front. Put it down here. And then we're going to attach this to our layering basic gray circle. And then we'll attach these with dimensionals. Let's see, I emptied that one, so let's pull out a new one. And again, I'll probably just put them top and bottom. And not in the middle like I normally would. If there's no ribbon or anything underneath, then I put them everywhere. But we'll just do it like this. Yeah, I think we're good. I'm going to put that right there. This should still be enough, even though we went over around a bigger piece of paper than I measured for. I usually kind of measure for the whole thing, but we should still have enough to tie our half knot. And trim off our little excess. And then we're going to add some bling. I just love these bling. Yeah, this really has a grayish tint to it. I'm not sure why. That's really weird. That one was trying to get away. Put it over here. I work in odd numbers when I add bling. I work in odd numbers quite often when I stamp. That's just my thing. There's no right or wrong to it. That's just how I do it. So there is project number 4. There we go. What do you think? Like I said, this one's on a little crooked. And I didn't go around it with the blending brush. I did on this one, and I kind of like it a little bit better. It softens it a little bit. So there's 4, project number 4. Here was number 3. And here was number 2. So here was my original, and I flicked with the Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to show you really quick. Actually, I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because I don't really want to get it on this, because I don't think I want the flicking on there. But you saw how I did it. So you'll just flick this background. I do think it adds to it. It's something on my finger. So don't forget to do that step. But I'll have to put I'll make sure I try to put a note in the video of not to forget to flick with the marker. And then here was the first card. And of course, you could do that flicking with any of these. It probably would look good with, it would probably look good on this one too. There we go. There's all 4 projects with the bonus class. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you have any questions about any of the projects. I will talk to you later and hopefully see you at next month's bonus class. Bye, guys. Hi guys, I'm back really quick. I forgot to show you the One Sheet Wonder cards. So I took a piece of shimmery white, 8.5 by 11, and then I stamped randomly with all of the flowers, and I used the word stamp. And then I also pulled in one of the masks, the dot one, and lightly did that in a couple different areas. And then I cut it up accordingly and kind of laid it out. Now, when I did it as a One Sheet Wonder, I didn't add these words until after I cut it up, only because I didn't want the words to be funky in different directions, and I knew it wouldn't look right if I stamped it on there first, unless I kind of had my layout exactly how I wanted. And I don't usually do it that way. I usually just randomly start stamping, but I might try and do a video with this on how I did it too and post it out on my blog. But again, you see I used all my favorite, see if these are all in the picture, all my favorite words, the thank you, and you could have stamped, I could have stamped a flower on the background of that little thank you there. But here I did die cutting with the rectangles. Another one of my favorite die cut sets, layering textiles, Tasteful Textiles. No, that's an embossing folder. Something, it's very similar to the embossing folder, but it's a nice set of die cuts. And this is the one behind it is actually the same one as this. I just cut it apart. You can see it if you tip it, but a nice effect. So anyway, here were the cards that I did with the One Sheet Wonder. And like I said, I might try and do a really quick video with the One Sheet Wonder and show everybody how I did it. So there you go. Sorry about that. Forgot to do it. Anyway, bye guys.